to a complete game. So it's just a nice feel to get back out there. And you started fast and we finished good. Had a little lapse there and somewhere in the middle, but it was a good game.
How nice is it, Coach? You're sitting here 6-0 on the season, and every game you come out of, and there's always saying, man, we can get better. We're going to be much better if we keep working through the next 3, 4, 5 weeks.
And we talked about that. Of course, we talked about that stuff quite a bit, and it's kind of our job to notice and point out and pick on flaws and improve on them. And if you're not getting any better, and that's obviously what we want to do. But we just really haven't felt like in the last month we've played anywhere close to where we could be playing. We might do that for one play, or 6 or 7 of us might do it on one play, but nowhere near where we've needed to be. And we strung together 3 good quarters the other night. So I think we're kind of out of that mid-season. Wait around for the weather to cool, wait around for district play to really get going. Slump we were in.
And going back to Friday night, a big night offensively for a couple of different people. I guess one of the big offensive plays that I was talking about before we came on the air, Josh Warren, you lined up Cruz Cervantes and Dylan Miller over there to block for him, trying, in my opinion, probably just trying to get some breathing room to throw the football when he was on the 4-yard line. He breaks it and goes the distance, 96-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I think we had already, actually the first drive of the game, got in a 4th and 1. Close to midfield and ran the exact same play, exact same personnel group, and just really trying to move ourselves out of there. One of those things we hadn't shown yet, and they weren't going to have any kind of adjustment or check ready for yet, so we knew we could get down and outnumber them at a particular area, and so we're just trying to get out of there, give ourselves an extra 4, 5, 6 yards, and lo and behold, Josh comes out of there and was able to scoot away, tuck that chin, and go 96 yards.
Coach, was the hole as big on film as it looked like when it opened up during the game and live?
No, probably not really. He kind of had to bob and weave a little, and honestly, probably dodging our guys as much as theirs, because we had them in a situation where they were a nose 5 with one linebacker there and a backed off safety, and by the time we pull our backside guard around and lead 2 guys through the hole, we had 4 in a tight area, so just kind of had to wait and be patient with it. Josh is good at finding and picking and seeing those little seams and making that work. We did that similar stuff with Brandon Allen last year. Brandon was a patient runner like that, and it's just good to be able to do those things with your quarterback this year. He's back there all the time anyway, and used to the handling the snap and saying the cadence, and so similar kind of runner in that sense, and picked through there and found his way.
Our McMoment of the game last week was the halfback pass from Joyner to Coffee. We talked about that earlier in the week. That ball hung up there for a while, but JD was able to get under it, and he made a couple of moves and got free and went into the end zone.
Yeah, we kind of toyed with that throughout the year, and really with someone else doing it. And Sammy's always, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. And so one week we said, all right, let's try it. And boy, he's in practice. We've probably ran that 6-8 times the last 2 weeks, and he threw an absolute bullet, probably 40-plus yards every single time, tight as spirals you could imagine. And I asked him about the series before we went out there. Sammy, you can do that with your glove. You need to take it off. What's going on? He said, no, I'm good. And we get out there, and it is so wide open. And he throws the biggest duck you can imagine. And luckily we were open enough that, JD had time to fair catch it, and then, as you said, make someone miss. But it was fortunate to go ahead and get in the end zone with it.
Samuel last week, 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. We seem to have someone that picks it up in the last few weeks. Samuel's picked it up several notches, and been putting up some not big numbers last week, but important numbers last week.
Yeah, I was going through the game or turning in stats to this group or that group and looking for this for whomever, and you don't realize it, but at the end of the game I looked up, and Sammy had, or on Monday when I was going through it, or Sunday, Sammy had 70 rushes for 3 touchdowns, had 2 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown, had 1-for-1 passing, 59 yards and a touchdown, had 4 or 5 tackles, and also had a pick. And I think sometimes you just take those kind of things for granted, and you don't realize it. I obviously recognized or remembered Ryan Harris and Dylan Miller and Randall Thompson, Jeremy Finley and Brant Bailey, and I think those 5 guys really stood out defensively, and Sammy just kind of got lost in the mix and had a really good game.
In the second quarter, maybe a little bit of a letdown. They got a couple of touchdowns, a couple of scores to close the gap. They were getting the ball coming out to begin the second half. Big play in the second quarter, though, was the no caller to call out of bounds on a interception by J.D. Coffey down the line that led to the score.
Yeah, they put one little drive there together and scored on us, and I think brought it to 20-7, I guess. We go right back down in just a couple of plays and score, make it 26-7, and feel pretty good about it. And then we relax, and I don't know, it's just one of those things we got to figure out as coaches how to prevent it from happening and get better. But they're driving towards the end of the half right there, and in the back of my mind, as you already said, I'm thinking, boy, they have a chance to cut this thing 2 touchdowns, plus they get the ball to start the second half.
Could be a 5-point game.
So it's a big thing right there. And then lo and behold, they end up scoring, but JD makes a great one-handed pick and gets both feet inbounds, probably a foot inbounds. I mean, a foot, 12 inches, foot inside the sideline, both feet. And they don't call it. Just one of those things. It really prevented the score, obviously, and then gave us a little more cushion. But we were able to. Maybe gave us something to pick on at halftime and be a little upset about, and come out the second half and play better.
First 2 possessions of the second half for Breckenridge resulted in turnovers, which in turn resulted in scores for the Mavericks. We started to open up. Probably the best 2 quarters of defense I've seen this year in that ball game right there.
Yeah, we've put it together at times. Obviously played a good full game against Jacksboro. Not as probably a great as opponent, but had some good moments in Grandview and Goldthwaite game, but just haven't played well overall as a whole. And the other night we felt like that was a really good second. It was a good first quarter too.
Right.
Just that one quarter we didn't play well, but as you talked about, second half was really good defensively, and we just want to hope to continue to build on that and improve from where we are there.
And our defensive players of the game, and it's always tough picking players of the game, so we try to spread it around as much as possible. Ryan Harris and Dylan Miller, co-players of the game. I think, according to our unofficial stats, both of them involved in a couple of sacks, several tackles for loss.
Yeah, I think they're actually both, and of course you have to catch that thing live, and we have the luxury of rewinding the video. I think they're both involved in 3 sacks each, and we're just all over the place. They had a hard time blocking those 2, and if we brought a fourth rusher, it singled up somebody, and if it's had to single up one, at least one of them on a play. And so Breck struggled to block them, and they're getting better. Ryan's healthy right now. Last year he ended up playing from the Breckenridge game on with he I don't know, maybe dislocated an elbow, maybe just hyperextended it real bad, and just never really got over it. Ryan's a hard-working kid. He spent a whole lot of this summer in the heat working early in the morning to late in the evening, and lost quite a bit of weight, really. And it's now starting to come back, and you can just look at him and see his size and strength is there, and he's starting to play real well for us.
One of the most consistent things that we've had all year was a little bit of a problem on Friday night. Tyler Adams missed a few extra points. How big of a role is that his holder was missing for much of that ball game?
It's I'm telling you, I've kicked 4 years on varsity, and actually kicked some in college, and it's the immediate reaction of fans and coaches and players and everybody alike is say, come on, kicker, and I'm telling you that hold and the snap, both of them are just as important as everything. If that ball's not on the right time, and it's not in the right spot, it's everything. It's just like I try to explain to some people, go tee your golf ball up and move it, and then let it slide or fall off right about the time you're going to hit it. And it's a difficult thing to do. And so a lot of that has to go in, and Tyler knows he's got to be better, but we had a holder go down, so we had a new holder going in, and so just some timing was off.
Sort of like Tony Romo a few years ago.
Yep, that was. I remember that play. It was a good play.
All right, Coach, we're going to go ahead and take our first break. You're listening to the Morning Huddle here on KATX Radio. Some sub-varsity and junior high stuff last night. Let's start off with the teams that played here, the JV Black and JV Red.
Big night here. Our JV Black team is kind of struggled in the win-loss column this year. And I don't know, they're sitting right at 3-4, 4-3, 3-3 on the year, but A lot of goes into that as far as who you're playing, injuries, who's playing for you and whatnot, and just a class where your skill kids are little bitty, they haven't grown yet, but you can really see them coming along. We've had to move up their quarterback to the JV Red, so it allows another kid an opportunity to play and get better and just get a little more comfortable in that role. Last night they beat Merkle 35-8. Man, it was just one of those good fun nights where a lot of plays were made. Didn't really play a good first half, but came out in the second half, played much better. O-line played good up front. Tyler Gwynn's been a good player for us all year. Peyton Bird really came on, I think, did the best that he's done without a doubt, probably in his 3 years of playing for us. And Coach Morris calling plays, did a super job getting everybody involved. I think every kid but one of our skill kids caught a ball or ran the ball last night, and the one that didn't dropped a couple, so he had the opportunity. It's just good to leave the field with the win, but more importantly to get everybody involved in the game and make some plays.
JV Red?
The JV Red won 47-0. Really kind of bounced back from a poor showing last week at Breckenridge. Not to take away from Breckenridge, because I'm sure they were a very good JV team, but we just didn't perform as we'd like. We think we should have, and we were back to being physical last night, being aggressive, and making plays. Our JV, probably not necessarily as talented or as won. I guess they've only lost once, so they got that opportunity as a JV as we've had since we've been here. But without a doubt, they're doing as good a job to better than any crew we've ever had of working hard daily, of practicing hard daily, and focusing and getting better. And they've really been an enjoyable crew to coach.
And then the junior high, we had 2 junior high games at Merkle last night.
2 junior high games. Our 7th started off and got beat 28-14. Merkle had 2 kids that were in the 6'1" range, and we struggled tackling them, particularly on kickoff returns. They scored 28 points, and 2 of them were on kickoff returns. One of them was on a reverse on the kickoff return, and then the next time they faked the reverse and scored on us. So, difficult things, but we felt like we played good again, had another touchdown called back. So, fix some issues on the special team, which is always difficult, but really in the junior high level, and when you don't know where the kick's going or how far it's going, and a lot of times that just gets it down to fastest man with the ball, and sometimes you can't get them corralled. So getting better and playing good. Just wish they could win a little more at times, but they're really improving and doing a lot better.
And the 8th grade?
8th grade, I will pick on them a little. Probably had a little bit of a letdown after a big Breckenridge game. As 7th graders, their only loss was to Breckenridge. So they were really up last week and won, and didn't probably perform necessarily up to their level. But we won 26-12. Kind of a tight game. We're really actually down 12-8 with about 20 seconds to go in the half, and Merkle had to punt the ball, and we returned the punt 75 yards for a touchdown. So it kind of gave us a little spark there, and went up 14-12. Had a pick six in the second half, and another pick that led to a touchdown, and finished out good, and those guys are undefeated on the year.
Next week, Dublin's on the schedule. What does the sub-varsity and junior high schedule look like?
Our junior highs, I guess, will be here, and we're going to move that up to 4:30. If you can get it moved up, it's good to do, and if the opponent will, likes to, and which Coach Cervetto wanted to, we'll start at 4:30. Sometimes it's hard on parents, but to get there, but you stack 3 games up on top of each other, it gets into a late night for junior high kids, and so we try to get that taken care of as much as we can. But we're going to start at 4:30 with our black team, followed by our 7th, and followed by our 8th. Then our JV Red is at Dublin. It's at 5 o'clock, and our JV Black is at Abilene Wiley at 5 o'clock. So they're both on the road.
Split up the 2 JV teams. Once again, 3 different towns.
Yeah, it's a chore, but it's good, man. Our kids done a good job. We're relatively healthy in the sub-varsity range, and lost very minimal to grades. So you got a lot of kids. I think we suited up 26 and 24, I believe, last night on our 2 JVs. So good number of kids out there, and you couldn't adequately throw 50 of those guys on one team and expect to get anything for the good of all of them. And so we just want them all to get good playing time and get work and and improve for the future.
You mentioned the health of the sub-varsity. How's the health of the varsity team going into tonight's game?
We're a little banged up for the first time this year, and we're going to be without 3 or 4 kids, and it's been just one of those situations that we've addressed. We addressed it starting last Saturday morning, and told our kids it's what it is, and this is sports, and just like life, and it's adversity, and you got to go on with it, and other people got to step up, and make plays, and we'll deal with it, and go on.
You going to play with a short roster, or are you going to move anybody up?
No, we're going to play with just what we have, and play with those that are out there going to get extra playing time, and we're just going to go with it.
Coach, last week in district play, Clyde gets a 42-6 win against this our opponent tonight, Merkel.
Yeah, just one of those. The game really probably wasn't as spread out as that score indicates, but as we've talked about, Clyde's being where we are right now, hurt all year, and they're just going to continue to start to click better and improve. This big week for them. I think they've got Dublin this week. If they can find a way to beat Dublin, they put themselves really pretty much clear of the field, minus Comanche, and and put them in a good position to make a run to win district.
Comanche 61, Dublin 14.
Same thing, not as big as the score indicates. Obviously, Comanche played really well. From all accounts, from what we've understood, it's the best Comanche's played. Just everything clicked. But Dublin had opportunities to score. They had 4 red zone possessions. They didn't score. 2 of them were inside the 5. I don't know that they necessarily would have prevented Comanche from scoring, but the score would have been much closer if they would have finished the drives.
61-40 instead of 61-14.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yep.
Tonight, district-wise, Jim Ned at Breckenridge. Jim Ned 0-2 in district. Breckenridge sitting at 0-3. A must-win for Breckenridge and a very important win for Jim Ned if they want to keep sides of playoffs.
Man, I'm telling you, we've talked about that. You got Jim Ned, who's been hurt, had some kids out against us or go down. Are they coming back, not coming back? They'd like to think they are. Breckenridge, same kind of way. I think Breck's getting their quarterback back tonight, but they've lost a kid in this week, during this week, that plays a lot. So, interesting game. It really, we're 28 days, a big crowd from our fans, a big game, and then hitting the road again. You're not going to have as many people there. It's cooled off. Some won't go because of the weather. Some won't go because of the travel. Some won't go because it's not a rivalry type opponent. So just a different scenario. And then, as we just talked about, Merkel's still alive for the playoffs, and they've got to have a win. And so it's just then you throw in the chance that it's going to rain. Just one of those things. You better be ready, and you better be focused and worry about yourself and what you can control.
I don't know, you probably didn't notice this last Friday night, but at the end of the first half, Coach Freeman kept his team on the field for an extended period of time, telling them, hey, we're in this ball game. And at halftime, they very much were. That the coaching staff at Merkel is going to be doing the same thing today if they can stay close, because they do need to win desperately in district play.
Yeah, they've got a loss to Comanche. It was a 7-7 game at half. They had that bad loss to Dublin in a game in which they fumbled 11 times and lost 6 of them.
Wow.
I think had a pick as well. So just one of those flukish nights. And they're, as we were talking about during the break, they got good players. They've got, that I know of, or I can remember, they got 5 or 6 returning all-district players. They were good players last year. These guys have played in the playoffs for 3 or 4 or 5 years in a row now and played deep in the playoffs, 2 or 3, 4 rounds at different times. So just for some reason the wins haven't came, and I just hope we can keep it that way. But they've got good talent. They're big up front. They got a couple kids that can really get it. I got 2 kids that have played quarterback. You don't know, according to what they feel like they're going to do, who's going to play quarterback. And so it just a situation that you feel like you hope you're not walking into a hornet's nest, and your kids understand the gravity of the game and the situation, and that you go take it and worry about yourself and play good and handle the situation and come out to win.
Offensively, what can we look for from them?
That's a good question. They're gonna trying to run the ball. They're going to do the best they can to milk the clock, keep possession, and it's going to be in some kind of option look, from under center, from gun, from pistol. They'll run, spread it out a little bit, run some play action pass and sprint out. Really honestly pretty plain, but from week to week, opponent to opponent, and according to who's playing quarterback, it's really just a different look of what they do.
Defensively?
The one thing, the consistency, the main consistency from Merkel over the past 5-6 years is their defense. They're very good, and they've played even through this little run this year where they're 1-5 or whatever. They've played good defense all year, and it's a different defense than most people play. They play a 4-2-5. Which you get a lot of 3-4 nowadays. You get some 4-3, and you get quite a bit of stack really, but no one else really does a front like they play. It's like TCU runs, and you don't see just a whole lot of people do it, so it's a little bit different. They're going to be always big at the tackle positions. They got one's 5'10", 290, and another one it's 6'4", 6'5", 250 or 260. I can't remember. And the baby of the crew is going to come in at 240. So you're always a difficult situation trying to push guys that big up the middle, and they'll outnumber you in the box if you remove people from there and dare you to throw it on the outside. And then just like you said, if you're having an off night or the weather's off and you got to deal with it, it's just hard to do, and they play very good defense.
As far as on our side of the ball offensively, what's the keys to making this game successful for the Mavericks?
I told our kids, and I don't want to necessarily let this out there, but we've got 2 turnovers in 6 games. I think we've lost 0 fumbles and thrown 2 interceptions. One was a dumb play by a quarterback, and the other was a play that he had to throw as 4th and goal from the 20. You got to make something happen. So you're really looking on one play out of the entire 6 games where we've had a turnover. And I said I guarantee you, across the United States, all levels of football, that's top 1%. I'm throwing that stat out there and don't know that, but how many teams do 6 games have 2 turnovers? And so we got to continue to do that, and just take care of the ball, give ourselves a chance. Our kids are going to play hard. We know that. They're going to get after it. Let us snap the ball again in good field position and good spots, and be able to put points on the board.
All right, Coach, that's going to do it for this. Well, first of all, you got a couple of coaches with birthdays, Marwitz and Lemons.
Yep, you're older and you're crankier.
Especially that Marwitz guy. I don't know about that, but I know he's listening in his classroom. So that's going to do it for the Morning Huddle. Thanks to my guest, Brian Hewlett. Thanks to my engineer back in the studio, Matthew Householders. Thank you for your time this time. Till next time, I'm Terry Slavens. Have a fabulous weekend, everyone.